All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Community Preservation Committee meeting. It is February 21st, a little bit after 7 p.m. We are meeting hybrid tonight. With us tonight for members, we have Dennis Clark, Chris Pratt, Beth Thomas, Dave Spina, and John Wally. We have our coordinator, Ms. Spooler. She will be running our Zoom for us tonight. All right.
Sorry, just talking out loud.
I know, I heard you. Does anybody has any comment, public comment? We'll take a little bit now, if anybody has any public comment. Five, four, three, two, one, and we'll go ahead. All right. New business tonight, we have an application from the Southwick Public Library to revitalize the library's yards. So we'll have the applicant come on up, or applicants. Everybody sign in that wanted to talk tonight? Okay. Yeah, no, why not? The big time. Grab a comfy chair. Okay, so you can just give us a narrative about your project.
So hello to those of you I don't know.
Oh, yeah, introduce yourself. That's it. Thank you. Appreciate that.
My name's Lynn Blair. I'm the director of the Southwick Public Library. So we were bouncing around ideas to try to revitalize our library yard. If you've seen it, I also sent pictures, granted they were taken in January, so it looks really depressing. But it's not nice. We really like to do something with it. A couple years ago, we got one picnic table and it is used all the time in nicer weather. So we figured, let's look into ways that we can, people hang out inside. What can we do outside to kind of make it a really good community space? So in our proposal, we detailed additional picnic tables, benches, trash can, and then our children's librarian found these very nice, they're percussion instruments. They go into the ground, they're permanent structures, as well as a story walk along our sidewalk. So interactive things that families can use just to kind of liven up the space because we'd like to see it a little more well used. I'm happy to answer any questions or address anything or see if this is something that you guys would support.
Well, as an educator, I like the idea of getting more people coming to the library. I mean, it's something that I'd really like to see in the era of gaming and everything else, And for sure you maybe see less kids at the library. I think this might help to bring families in there, get them more used to coming.
I would say, we see less, I think this week especially, school vacation has been quite busy. We get a lot of teens after school. And during the nicer weather, they like to hang out outside. So we'd like to have more picnic tables for them to use. Yeah, so I mean, we're a fairly busy place, we just kind of like to take and make it be outdoors a little bit more, pleasant for people to use, as well as using it for our own purposes. Like it would be great to take some of our programs outside so we can get a little messier, explore different options.
Or have storytellers outside or,
Yeah.
I like the story walk idea too. That's
Thank you. Yeah, we can have it be interchangeable. Our children's librarians can change it every month or every other month or so. So it's something that's always new.
Anybody have any? This would be fun and fast.
So I have a question about the picnic tables.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see photos of what you want.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Um,
actually, the
they-
picnic table
are
in
they
the
a-
photos is, we ordered that one from Masscore. And, we were just gonna kind of get the same ones from them as well, so that everything matches.
Are they a polymer?
They're wood.
They're wood.
Yeah.
Okay, did you guys research like the aluminum tables?
Those I found were a bit pricier. But, if that's something that we can go for, we can definitely look into the metal ones as well.
The only reason I asked that question is because they tend to rot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and secondly, with regard to the picnic tables, do you have a way of anchoring them so that
They don't walk away.
little
They don't-
creepos don't take them?
They don't walk away. We certainly can look into anchoring them. As of right now, the one we have doesn't have any anchoring. We never had any issues with it. Doesn't mean anything won't happen, but we can also look into that as well. Part of this too, we also wanted to get a security camera for that side of the building, because if we're installing all this stuff, we have cameras everywhere except that. There's nothing there. I guess there's no reason they ever put one there, but as part of this, we'd like to explore that option as well.
You have an idea of how much extra would be for the metal tables?
Probably, I would say probably at least a couple $100 more, I think. Well, that's thinking lightly.
That's the, got any idea?
The metal benches I have in here from Masscore, for two of them, it was about $1,600. So I'm thinking for picnic tables, it would probably be around that as well, maybe a little less, little more.
Chris, just a
Reynolds.
couple of things on that, since we have, numerous facilities down at the boat ramp, so they are basically recycled plastic. Those last forever, and you can look at that for your tables. The other thing you gotta watch is handicap accessibility.
Yes.
You gotta make sure that grass is
Yeah.
not considered, even if it's like a rock, it's not handicap accessible
Yeah,
by
so
definition.
the first part of this project, we're working with David Sutton, who's the head of buildings and grounds.
Yep.
He is looking into, making the actual space for this. And we did mention that, we were gonna have him look into ADA accessibility, because as far as I know, bark mulch is not
It's not.
ADA
No.
acceptable. So he was looking into, what we can do as far as making the space happen where we put everything.
Mm-hmm.
Can you please identify yourself?
Mr. Granel,
Dick Reynolds, Lake Management Committee Chair.
Thank you.
We have a lot of experience with making
Right.
everything handicap accessible.
Do you have-
ADA compliant.
an idea of how much those,
Think she's right, looking at Masscore. The other one that we use is, in fact, most of our stuff. I'll send you the catalog information. Kirby Built is the whole name.
okay,
So it's Kirby BYLT. We have their catalog, and most of the things we bought, the benches and everything are from Kirby. I like to support Masscore, but sometimes you can't get what you want, You don't wanna you don't wanna redo to comply with something you can buy from Masscore, you can buy it commercially.
Or do we wanna up the
Maybe
dollar
warranties.
amount a little bit to compensate for that?
I actually have a question. So in our last meeting, we had Stuart, the executive director of the CPC
Coalition,
Coalition.
yeah.
And I want to say, didn't he say that benches and picnic tables that are not permanently affixed to the ground technically aren't CPC allowable? Or am I remembering
That's
that?
other
He
way around.
did, and that's why I was asking. I
Okay.
was leaning into
It-
that.
Okay,
So if it isn't anchored, we can't approve them.
and that's like anchored as far as, like
You
dug
put,
4 feet deep, put cement
you
in
gotta,
and
you gotta
plop
put
it
in a pillar with a
Okay,
hook and a
okay.
chain and make it so that,
Attach it to a concrete slab.
Yeah.
right.
right,
So, but either way, it's gotta be affixed.
Affixed. Yeah,
You can wheel it around on its chain, but you can't take it off the property.
okay. I just wanted to, I wanted to make sure I
You
was
were
like.
absolutely correct, ma'am.
Right.
Absolutely
We
correct.
found permanently attaching them to concrete really works well.
Yes.
I've got my concrete in my yard that I can't get out, so.
Attach it
I wish I could, right? Okay, anybody else have any questions?
The only question
concerns,
I see,
comments?
I think, the amount with this 20,659, is there any like extra contingency amount in there just in case, 10% or whatever, just in case something is more than what you think it is, or is that literally what you?
I mean, that's
Pay for the books.
You
estimated
can always
rate
give it
for what
back.
we've
If
got,
you don't
yeah.
spend it, you can
Yeah,
always give it
yeah,
back.
I mean.
I
So,
think it's excellent use of CPC funds,
Yeah.
so.
I agree.
It's good to ask for a little bit
But I
more
think maybe a little
sometimes,
more.
because there are, you know,
You don't have to come back. and ask
expenses that are
for it. And
anticipated.
if you give it back, then that's great too.
Yeah,
So-
then that's perfect. Okay.
So you got a dollar amount you wanna?
Maybe throw another 10%, $2,000 on it, that'd be my.
Yeah,
Which would be the anchor.
that's a good idea. Yeah. Are you looking for a motion?
Anybody else ready?
Ready.
Okay,
Make a motion to approve it with the contingency. Added to it.
okay, and that's the $2,000 more than the application, which would be $22,659.15.
I second that.
And it would be coming out of what fund, Dennis? Did you want to take it out of the general reserve?
Yes, please.
Okay. And David,
Yeah,
second,
Second that. Yep.
all in favor?
Dave Spina, aye.
Aye.
Aye. John Wally? John Wally.
He's trying to,
That looks like it's
Nodding his
bigger.
head.
And he's giving us a
Hey,
thumbs up.
thumbs up.
John, you got a thumbs up.
I say aye.
All right, super good.
Yay.
Sorry, but
Excellent, thank you.
this is not easy being in two meetings.
Oh, I know. So you are good. And it'll
Wonderful.
have to, go through the rest of the process.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I'll check in with Sabrina because this is all new to me. So.
Okay,
Thank
take care,
you.
thank you very much,
Thank you.
appreciate it. Okay, we also have project application tonight from Lake Management Committee, dredging of South Cove on Middle Pond. Mr. Granels is here from Lake Management. Welcome, Mr. Granels. Good evening. So you can tell us about your project a little, give us a little overview for the people online.
Well, we found out there's an opportunity to participate in a, what's called an inland rural area dredging program, $4 million pot. It's, not, it was ARPA funds that the state decided to use for a pilot dredging program. And the total pot is 4 million. So, and it's not for all 351 cities and towns. It's only for the rural communities, which I think I enumerated in there. It's 200 something, 181 or something like that. Rural communities. So Boston and Springfield and like that cannot gobble it up, so it'll be for
Right.
the small towns. What we did, we want to try and keep this thing so that it's viable, financially viable, it's doable. Something, site, there's plenty of areas on Congon that we could dredge. But what we opted for after a lot of soul searching on it was the cove that's adjacent to the south ramp. It's a small cove. It's very screwed up with muck, sand. It's filled in to the point where if you back a boat out with your prop down, you go into a stony mix, maybe 25 feet off the launch area. And if you continue, you will continue gobbling up your prop because that whole area has only got like 2 feet, 6 inches. I actually put the data in there that we Lake Management took in 2001. So you know that the problems got worse, not better,
Right. Is part of that due to prop wash, you think, from power loading their
Yeah,
boats?
yeah, and
Yeah.
so it takes but I gotta say that since they built the new ramp, it's about 4 years ago now. That's considerably better because what they do is they take that leading edge, or whatever you want to call it, the trailing edge, that goes down about 8 feet. So you're not washing against and undercutting
Okay.
the concrete,
Right, not gonna sink on you.
but you still are moving it. And that's the
Right.
problem. So it makes a hill behind it, and that's what you back into. In addition, as we described in there, there was a road that was being built back in 67 that was going to tie the marina to that land owned by the same family. And the DEP stopped it. And as part of the settlement, that land was given to the Commonwealth, to the Office of Fishing and Boating Access, then Public Access Board was their name.
Okay.
And so that's how come the south ramp came into being. But that material was never removed. You could still see it. If you look on Google Earth, you can actually see the landmass that's under the water. And it's only, 2.5 feet down from the
Yeah.
surface. So if you make it all right, backing out, and then you start to head out, you gotta be really careful because there's areas there where it still sits and it's a bony, very, very bony material. So the plan is to use a porta dam as opposed to wet dredging. And the reason we want to dry dredge it is a hydraulic dredge, a hydro dredge, is not good for sucking up rocks and stuff like that. And we don't know how much, the size of the stones and whatever was dumped in there. None of us were around when that happened. So at any rate, the plan is to put the porta dam, which was used to build the fishing pier. So we have experience with it, and the Office of Fishing and Boating Access built that pier, but I lived down there while they were constructing it. So it's a really, really good way to keep water out that's less than 6 or 8 feet deep. And they basically sandbag the outboard side of it to the bottom, make a seal. Then you can pump down everything inside, and now you work in the dry. The other good thing is you can, as you start pumping it down, you can remove anything, any fish, any turtles, anything, put them on the other side of it. Because you can see them as you're pumping down. It doesn't happen instantly.
Mhm.
And then you just have to run a couple of 2-inch pumps. They usually use a 6-inch pump to get it down, and then a couple of 2-inch pumps just in opposite ends to keep it dry where they're working. And so now the other advantage of that is you can actually measure, as you're removing materials, you can measure what the elevation is. And are you at the desired elevation, or you still got more to go? And it makes it a much easier process. And you also don't have literally millions of gallons of water to deal with and trying to get filtered out and have the mud and sand stay behind the sandbags and the hay bales and like that, and filter paper. And so now you're working with material that you can scoop up with a loader, So an excavator works out in the lake, and they bring it up and deposit on the south ramp pavement. We've already gotten permission from the Fishing and Boating Access to use that area for that. We're gonna do it in the off boating season, so it will not impact anything that's going on. And the suggestion has been made to actually do it in November, December timeframe, so that the materials that you remove will stiffen up very rapidly on the pavement, maybe even freeze, and scoop it up. So it makes it an easier process. And doing it that way, we figure under 2 weeks to do the whole thing.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's impressive.
so and like I said, I've already talked to the people who installed the porta dams for the fishing pier. And they know very familiar with the area, with the lake bottom and whatnot. So they see that's a really easy way to do it. And you have to rent the porta dams for a month minimum. We're gonna be done with them in probably from the time they put them in to the time they take them out, maybe 3 weeks tops. So the rental just meets the minimum payment. And we want to take out about 3,200 cubic yards. That's been calculated based on where the bottom resides today, and we want to get it down to like 4 feet, tapered back up nicely to the shoreline. But the problem is it's like this, and ranging from 2 to 2.5, back to 2, 2.5. It's just bad. It keeps the marinas busy replacing props.
Yeah. What's the depth just out past the cove there, Dick? Is that just about 4
That
feet?
drops off, yeah.
It drops right
That
off.
drops right off. And like I said, you can actually go look on Google Earth and you can see where we drew this line is just to the east of the mound of road. that was built.
All right,
So we'll hug the eastern side of the mound so that we can remove it. Then it'll be gone for good.
I have a couple curiosity
Yeah.
questions. So, how, you want to do 4 feet?
Yeah.
That's your target?
well,
Yeah.
two 4 feet.
So, get it from, its current is running around 2, get it down to 4 feet. And as it goes out towards the road, we'll kind of blend it into where it drops off, because it drops off very nicely after that. It's around, 10 feet after the road is. Oh. the
How
other-
close
the
are you
eastern
gonna,
side.
how close are you gonna come to the homeowners that are in that cove?
That will just be tapered. We're not going to, you don't want to have a
You don't
rapid
wanna-
rise. No, you want something so that and that'll all be as part of the design. So that it doesn't create an erosion problem. And we want to go to the other part of this. It does several things. It removes material to get it down to a consistent around 4 feet in the part where you normally boat. And it removes the muck that's there. It's literally 14,000 years of accumulation of muck, because that was
Yes,
Lake
yes.
Hitchcock. And the other thing, we have found hydrilla was found in that cove, which is common now in the Connecticut River. And it was spotted by a person from DCR. And so we're working with them on, and with Solitude about addressing it when they treat this coming season, boating season, and unfortunately, that can't be done at the same time as we treat for the other 2 invasives, the Curlew pondweed and the Eurasian water milfoil. It is later. It starts later, ends later. So you kind of have to do it twice, but that is our plan anyway, to address the entire lake, look for it, treat it. And it's the same treatment as is used for the other 2 invasives. Same chemical. The diquat.
So my last question is, what do you do with the material? And that's just pure curiosity.
That would likely go to the same place that all the other, we did 7 other dredging projects. When I say we, on the lake, they were done, and they're enumerated in the request. And they've gone to the farm, Blossoming Acres Farm, over kind of across from the Catholic Church. It's a permitted site by DEP. We'll have to re-permit it, but that shouldn't be a problem, because what's perfect is that it can't get away from there and go into Great Brook or anything like that.
Mhm.
It's,
Yeah, and our, the muck that we have in the bottom of the lake turns out to be good muck.
good stuff, yeah.
Oh, it
Yeah,
is?
you know, a lot of lakes will
Right.
accumulate volatile organics
That's
over
why I
time.
like it.
But we did, a number of years ago, we had a bunch of test borings done, and it turns out that we don't have a bunch of volatile organics down there. So the stuff you take out is very good for soil reclamation for farms.
Good stuff.
Now it's Eric
Black
Miller
gold.
online,
Yeah, sorry.
lake management as well.
And the other thing that we'll do is we've been working with NRCS. And for now coming on 2 years, and they actually finished the preliminary report. They had a consultant do a study on Great Brook and Canal Brook, because they both reverse flow during heavy rainfall. And it's just because they're so clogged. So they finished that. They actually have now got a consultant set up to do boots on the ground assessment and design. And so their plan is restoring the flow to both of those, no cost to the town.
Awesome.
Yeah. And it would be, they would permit it, they'd design it, they'd permit it, they'd pay for it, for the construction and everything. And we just watch.
Nice.
So we've been doing that now, like I said, working 2 years with them.
Mr. Grinnell, so for the people who don't know NRCS, acronyms are great, but sometimes people review our notes.
Natural Resource Conservation Service.
Thank you.
And they're part of USDA, Department of
Are
Agriculture.
you saying this is, already permitted
No,
conservation?
no, this thing, no.
In the application, it's got a check mark on the conservation commission order conditions.
No,
That
it
didn't,
shouldn't be.
February 25th,
oh,
25.
that was for depositing the materials.
Where is it?
Anticipated.
I just wonder about
What
the,
page was that?
I just wonder about the filing on
At the
how
top.
much,
Well, this is,
well, with.
I
the
still have a
town,
lot of
with
work
the
to do with
state,
this
with
thing.
With the, I know dredging projects take a lot of,
oh, they take a long time,
yeah,
so.
but it's not covered under the order conditions for the like treatment. Right?
No, no, it's a totally different, totally separate. The whole design permitting, more samples have to be taken. I think Ken Wagner said we need 5 more samples by the area, size of the area. And we will do that, those will be done, corings. And then they get sent to a lab and they get tested. The other thing that I was gonna say, I just got a little off track with the NRCS, is that we intend to go right to the culverts, clear to the culverts, because that's the headwaters for Great Brook. If we don't clear that, then when they clear what's on the other side, and they can't work, they, by their charter, they can't fix the lake, they can fix the brook. But they can't fix the lake.
So while we're there. let's
While we're
fix the
there. We're going to fix the lake,
Get some flow out of it.
Go right up to the batter board,
right up to, well, yeah, the weir gates now.
rear gate.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah, we'll go right to the edge of the concrete and we can't undercut it, but that goes down deep anyway. So what we'll do is taper that nicely and clear all the muck and goo and accumulated sand.
Keep the rear gates closed. So
There you
it doesn't come
Oh,
back
yeah,
in.
yeah.
Very nice.
And the other nice thing about working in that area is that water, when we pump it down, it's not all stirred up, so it can be pumped right over the top of the weir gates to Great Brook. Because they're closed, so it's not gonna come back into the lake. So it's a way to pump clean water right there. You don't have to go find another spot and flood somebody's yard.
Mm-hmm.
So we've kind of, we've had the luxury of having Ken Wagner, our limnologist. He and I have spent endless hours on this thing, thinking our way through it, how we do it.
Right. So is this gonna go through DEP or will it be coming through conservation?
It starts with conservation. There'll be a notice of intent filed. It has to go to DEP. There's a listing of the different permits that we need. And there's probably 4, I think there's 4 or 5 permits that are required. So it's a lengthy process. The whole first 6 months is design and permitting.
Okay,
And so why the extra money is, we want to keep the grant below 300K so that it hopefully makes it through the gauntlet. And we don't know everything about it until you design and permit it. That's the problem. And we don't want, and they will pay, the grant will pay for design, permitting, sampling, porta dam installation, dredging, disposal of materials, everything, final report, construction oversight, monitor, an environmental monitor, they pay for everything. So that's, if we keep it at under 300, that's why we get the number there. And we're asking for 100, we're thinking it's gonna be like 50K maximum we'd spend in FY 25 and the balance in FY 26. Once you know exactly what you're gonna do, and in case it changes the path for, say, disposal, where you have to use gasketed trucks or something like that. But hence why we want to do it in, why we want to do it in late November, because we're hoping that makes it a lot easier to transport.
How much money is in the unencumbered funds or
Unreserved is, minus the library project, approximately 1,008,840.24.
That's a good number.
Mhm. I know a lot of grants do like to see good faith from towns who are gonna put some money in
Right,
the door
right.
too. I mean, I think that does help out in the
Yes, it
application
does,
process.
does.
As well it does with community preservation. It's nice to see money coming from
Right,
place else as
right.
well. So,
So this
I
is
think
kind of
that-
like an investment in
right,
trying to get some nice state funds to do a dredging project. The other thing about it is too, it gets us, both the lake management and the town, because there are other areas that we want to target in the future. And we've had many discussions and there's been money in bond bills, but in a bond bill doesn't mean you can have a nickel of it.
Hmm.
And as we've learned. And so, you know, we can continue lobbying for additional bond money and use this as a stepping stone and say, look, we just did this one. You know, we want to do this area. And, oh, that's the other thing I did want to tell you is that we were able to get the US EPA Region 1 mapped the muck in all 3 ponds. So we have a map. And in fact, I'll put that in there, in the muck map, but, so this is a selected area from all the work that they did. And it's pretty neat because, we can use that to prioritize for future dredging projects.
right.
And that was done no cost to the town.
And I think you sent that to conservation.
Yes, you have a copy
We
of it,
have,
yeah,
seen
but I
it.
think I'm
I
gonna
have seen
include it
in the application.
muck map.
Yeah.
I think it's just a good piece showing how it fits a long-range plan.
Right.
How did they, sorry,
Go ahead.
how did they map the muck? What?
They, it's funny, because I had a nice long discussion with them about it. They, almost the way we did, except that they do it with GPS. They use soundings, and then they also use a pole. So they sound to the top of the muck, and then they push with a rod to where it's
Solid.
refusal, where it's solid. So now you know, this is here, this goes down that far, so there's my muck. And they did that for the shoreline of all 3 ponds. And that was the deal, is that, alum is not effective beyond about, or is effective beyond about 12 feet of water. Anything shallower than that, you get too much wave action. And so the alum, which binds the phosphorus, can't stay there long enough to bind anything. It just gets
Broken up.
broken up.
Yeah.
So that's why we wanted to map, and they mapped out to 15 feet, just so we have a bit of an overlap. And so we have some really nice data from it. And I actually have the raw data too from them.
That's cool.
Yeah. So they spent a few weeks this past summer out there mapping Congamon.
So you think the project is 297?
Hmm.
You think the project is 297,
Yes.
$297,000?
Yes,
You're asking us for $100,000.
right.
Is there an overage built in?
Yes, there is a contingency already in there, which I cited in the
Right.
request.
Okay,
16,000.
And we didn't want to go crazy with the contingency. We also put in enough in the different buckets. So there's a little bit there for each of the categories that we have to respond to in the grant package. But we were trying to stay under 300, just so that we don't wind up getting kicked out because we're asking for too much.
got it.
And I think this, if we can get this commitment, that shows the town's commitment to share in the project, which is always a good thing, you know, a
Mhm.
little bit of partnership. And lake management, I mean, I've lived out there for umpteen, actually, of the 7 projects that we cited there, 6 of the 7, I was there all the time. The only one I wasn't there for was the one where they dredged the island. The island people contracted to have that done.
Hmm.
And they dredged the canal between the island and the mainland. And I was not part of that. But all the other ones, I can say boots on the ground.
Cool. All right.
One last question, just to make sure I understand. So ideally, the grant comes in at 297.
Yeah.
Right? And then, presumably 100K out of CPC. The project would consume the 297 first.
Yes.
And then start eating to
Yes,
100. right?
yes,
So, yeah.
yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. We work off what would be in the grant funds. And if we don't use any of it, that's great.
Comes right back.
Then it comes right back.
That's fine.
It's not go spend ours first.
Right.
It's spend the grant, because that's the way it's written,
They're not gonna be spending
So-
$100,000 on permitting and plans and everything and then not have it go through. So,
Right,
Right.
right.
That's
So
Project
our
itself.
commitment is about 23.5%. Which do you believe that that'll make the state happy?
Hmm.
So you're applying for the grant?
Yes.
For the state, and our commitment from the town is about 23.5%.
Yeah.
Do you think that'll make the state happy and
Oh, I
that is
think
gonna
so.
give you the boost to get the
Yeah, I
grant?
think that, that shows a commitment on the part of the town to partner in doing this, that we're serious, willing to co-invest in it.
Good money.
Mhm.
Okay,
I think it's quite a bit of money.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
Okay.
and I think it's gonna be, I hope we get it, because I think it's gonna be a really, really good project. It does accomplish so many different things that are positive for both recreation, quality of the water quality, addressing the flooding issue for the future, because we're partnering. And we use that. I already had this discussion with my contact at NRCS. He already knows what we're doing and is very pleased that we're gonna work up to that point. Then they'll take it from the other side of the Weir Gates.
This application's coming in through Lake Management, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And it will be signed, the selectmen are going, it was not signed by the owner. The select board is going to,
Is the state the owner? Or how
well,
does that work?
for all the other ones we've done on the lakes, the select board they've authorized Carl to sign for the select board. Because who knows who you'd ever have to go to, and it's been fine, so
Yeah.
the select board signs as owner. And certainly we don't see any money coming from the state normally to pay
If
for
you're not,
anything
the
out
owner's not.
there.
Right.
This is a first.
So we would anticipate the select board signing as the owner.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
When does Carl retire?
the 29th of March.
So if Carl's authorized to sign, does that put a snafu in your works come April?
No. I
No.
wouldn't think so.
Because he was at the time,
Yeah.
Okay,
and he would be authorized by the Board of Selectmen by a vote, has to be a vote,
okay,
So it'd be his replacement that would be.
would follow on, right?
got it. Okay,
He's signing as the CAO. He's not Carl Steinhardt, he's the
I
CAO,
understand.
Yeah.
right?
So that's
We
the
talked
town.
about this project about 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's why, exactly, that's why in 2001, we did all of,
Yeah.
Ray Reardon,
That's right,
myself, and two others.
Get
Did
out there with the sticks. and-
every 25 feet, so we did a matrix from the shore with ropes marked with, and we went every 25 feet in all directions.
Actually took samples out there too.
We did, we took a borings in, yeah. Yeah, so that's 2001, so it's 23 years ago.
Wow.
I
Right.
remember
Yeah,
that.
That's when I first got in conservation, I think. That's a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Okay.
actually had a copy of that data, that's why.
Oh, that's,
It's in there.
that's what I said. There's a lot of years. going back.
Are you looking for a vote on this today?
If you can,
I don't see why we can't. I mean, things are contingent upon the, the signature, but I think we can go ahead and do our part now. That way they don't have to come back just for formality's sake.
because we have to submit this by March 1st, the application.
It's not drag our feet then.
So,
Mhm.
yeah, that's why I spent, the weekend working on that application and on the, and on the, application to you folks. Or CPC funds.
When you say we have to submit this, what's this? The
The grant,
grant?
the grant application.
Okay,
By March first.
right, but the
Town
the
meeting.
town
isn't
meeting,
from there.
so, yeah, so.
All we'll do is that it's committed by the, and I wrote that in there.
Okay.
If you do it, it'll say it was voted on favorably at the blah, blah, blah meeting of the CPC and subject to voter approval at town meeting.
Right, and then you could put in how the alum was passed, the town
Yeah.
meeting with.
Yeah. And I'll reference,
Yeah.
that's a good thing to
I,
do.
I
Alan.
think it just shows that the town is amenable to preserving the lake and, you know, maintaining.
And that was CPC also.
Correct.
Yep.
Right, so I think
Yeah.
that would be a good thing to.
Yeah,
So
that's a
show-
good on the site.
Yeah.
Because that was a nice chunk of.
You and I
change.
worry
that was a
about
lot
the
more.
ends.
That was a lot more.
Right,
Oh, we've got all
Yeah.
the thread, but they're not knitted together at the
Yeah.
end.
yeah.
And by the way,
It's like
the,
100 to
the
get all the.
water quality is, you know, Eric is the one that keeps track of our water quality and it has been doing really, really well since the alum treatment.
So you're looking for a motion or you're gonna make a
Yep.
motion?
We'll look for a motion, Dennis. You wanna make a motion?
I'd make a motion if nobody else wants to.
I'll make a motion that we accept the application.
Oh my God.
The LMC.
I second.
Wait, just, can you just specify which, how much and what fund?
$100,000 from the general unreserved,
I second.
since we have a little bit of money in there. Okay, all in favor? Dave
Dave
Spina,
Spina, aye.
Beth Thomas, I.
Chris Pratt, aye.
Dennis, I.
John Wally,
John,
Oh, he's frozen? No. John.
Golly.
There's nothing I can do about it on this
where
end.
is he?
He's right here.
Well, he's probably on the other
Wake up,
meeting.
John.
he's muted.
He's
Well,
probably on the
he's
other meeting.
frozen. Let's see, I'll ask to unmute, maybe that'll unfreeze.
Text him.
John.
He's probably voting
Can
on
we do
something else.
a vote by text? To show the camera. Oh my God.
Wake up, John.
Mr. Ganose, thank you very much.
He
for
heard
that
me.
work. It-
He heard me and
It's
says yes.
Impressive.
All right.
Yeah, records.
Uh,
I don't,
Where are we? Down low? Area?
wait, the owl.
Want me to
the
hold it
owl.
over here?
Mr. Owl,
Aiming. at
John
me.
Wally says
Down,
this way.
down.
There you go.
There you go.
John Wally says yes.
Oh,
Screen just
you need
got-
light.
Like, well, yeah.
There you go.
John Wally says yes.
Got it?
Okay. That's interesting.
Oh,
Probably a first. I don't know. We're gonna be. in
I
the
will
book somewhere?
testify that I saw it.
Yeah, right, too.
Wow.
Got multiple witnesses that he gave it thumbs up.
He is online, is not able to transpond for some reason. His screen is frozen. So. He did say, yeah,
Wonder of electronics.
all right. So you're good through us, but you
Good,
still have
good.
some hoops to
It's gotta
jump
go
through.
to the, yeah, select board.
Um,
That's my, I gotta do that next. And they're meeting Monday,
Right.
coming Monday. So it's already on their agenda,
Mhm.
you know, as
Yeah.
a keeper, so.
Yeah, and John texted me again, says I can hear you, but again, you can't
Ah,
speak
something.
with us directly.
Mhm.
So,
already.
all right, thank you
All
very
set.
much.
Thank you.
Mr.
Okay.
Ganose.
Appreciate all your hard work. That's a lot of work.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. I'm looking forward to the
Thanks, Eric.
the NRCS activities, which we will, they're waiting for the federal budget to be passed. Can you imagine that? That's
Good luck
what's
with
holding us
that.
up.
I'll be retired.
We'll all be retired. That's all they're waiting for. They have the contractor all ready to go. Ink is signed. Just need the damn check to.
Wow.
Checks in the mail, right? So
Mhm.
anyway, thank you.
Sure enough.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.
See ya.
Yep. Have a good night. Okay, we've got some old business. We got CPC funds, discussing of them.
yeah.
Now we may have less than we had starting the meeting.
So this was just a follow-up on the funds that were used to pay for a municipal employee.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So I did some research and it turns out that he was not a full-time or is not a full-time employee. He's contracted out and it's paid through a line item of like a general fund. So everything's okay.
Excellent,
There was no
Good to hear.
wrongdoing.
excellent.
Perfect.
Yep,
Okay,
Thank
application.
you.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sabrina.
you're welcome.
application forms, we talked about, adding in a few things to the application forms, the yes and no grid, I think was one of them.
Yeah,
Maybe the flow chart was another.
um, grid. When you say flow chart, what do you mean?
Well, the use of a flow, the uses of the funds. Um. There's a yes and a no, but there's also like on historic, there's a flow chart.
Oh,
that
okay.
Goes down for historic funding. And I think, well, I think we put, some links to that on the online application. But I can't quite remember now.
The online applications are the old applications.
The ones that you, Beth, and I worked on that time.
Yep, those are not online.
No, they're not. But they will, those are the ones I'm talking about as online applications where
Okay.
people can apply online.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay,
Not the ones that are on our site,
right, okay.
but an online application where people can apply online.
That's what you mean.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
I think we did put on those, that application, a link to the, flow chart.
It could be a fillable form online that they can
Yeah.
PDF.
And we found that, Excel was the way to go, I think, with that. You can fill in, it will expand the cell,
Okay.
right? Is that what we found out?
I can do it through Word as well. It'll expand.
Okay,
I've been doing Word fillables for the
Okay.
past few months.
super.
So the community preservation plan. Do you guys want to start chipping away at that? I have in the packet, in your packets, the first half, which I did about a year ago.
Hmm.
So there are a couple things that need to be updated, but if you wanted to take this home and read it, and let me
I think
know.
that's a great idea.
Mhm.
Yeah, and something that I was trying to do, SharePoint. Could anybody get on? I invited you guys as members.
Nobody's
And
seen
that,
have any
I
luck
always
with
got
that.
the bicycle of you can't see anything here.
I wonder if I should
That's
try
all
to
I got.
use,
And I decided not to torture anybody because he was like, all I got is a bicycle and I'm like.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
after,
I pedal
after
into it.
that,
That's
after
right.
that, I added you guys individually as members and I added your email address and you should have gotten an email from SharePoint.
Do we have to have a Southwick town address to get on that, maybe?
I added you as a guest from an outside source and that should be, I mean, that was a thing that was a bit of a hiccup, but
Right,
I had thought I worked my way around it. I'm wondering if I should just try something else like Dropbox because I would be great for everyone to like see all the documents in
Yeah,
one spot.
we just can't communicate with each other through that.
Yeah,
It's just
you might want
because
to talk to
open meeting law violation.
John Goddard, because for the master planning advisory committee.
Yeah,
They had set up a thing where we could go in and. look
And
at
get all the
everything was
documents?
All in there, yep.
Yeah,
okay,
that's a great idea.
all right.
Dropbox.
I mean,
It
that's,
was a Dropbox, it
No,
was
something,
some,
yeah.
like, I wanna say it was like a Google Drive site or one of those kind of things.
okay,
Okay,
all right. Ask John.
that's
Yeah.
what we, that's
So
what we
it's kind of
have.
a document
That's
dump.
cool.
It's on a document,
Yeah.
dump. Yep, you could go right in there and all the,
And-
like, as the
Sharon,
chapters were, you
how to
could
do
put
it.
on what we needed, yep.
I think you did.
Put up,
Right.
you could load up your comments.
Word.
Master
Or call.
plan document.
Yeah.
Cause email is so, like emailing all the documents, well, sometimes the documents are just too big.
Right.
the email to everyone. Like I had to zip Dick's, application, I had to zip that up. And it's just kind of a hot mess, and I
Mhm.
just wanted everyone to have access whenever they can, instead of going through their emails, trying to
I mean-
find, I mean, I got 3 emails for Joanne, and I'm still trying to figure out the right one.
That Dolphin,
She's got two,
Comcast.
that it's like, yeah, join something, and then, one of them is she's got
Dolphin
like,
joint.
yeah, and, she's emailed me a few times, like, it's not my email, change it. And then, why did I send me these documents? And I sent, anyways.
Okay.
So it's just, I'd rather, yeah, everyone just have one place to go to, and
Mhm.
then, document share. Okay, and we have meeting minutes too.
Oh, yes. Let's do those. Where they can.
You don't have a form for that because I wasn't here for the meetings.
That's true. Neither was John. We'll postpone.
Okay.
We have to.
New forum.
Right. I hate postpone.
Mm-hmm. Well,
And
the,
then-
See how much it was.
recording's online. People are really interested.
Yeah, and like I can send a draft to somebody if they request minutes,
Right.
so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Anybody want to say anything like tonight or?
Oh, John's unfrozen.
Oh, there he is.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Wait. I mean, sorry. I just can't, we can't hear him.
I make a motion to defrost John Wally.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Wait, so,
John?
He was already saying yes.
Yeah, he said yes an hour ago.
Yes.
Yes, he said yes.
Said yes.
So- hold on, that motion turned into a defrost, so. who made-
No,
So who made the motion to adjourn?
I did.
Chris.
I seconded.
Like,
Forgive me, I'm sorry. I
you guys
couldn't
are
help
driving
it.
me crazy.
John
My
Wally's
God.
frozen.
Okay, and then, yeah, so, and it was a unanimous.
Yep. John usually makes the motion, but not tonight.
Not tonight, we can't.
Okay.
Right.
Is the owl off?
Thank you, everybody, for
Um,
coming.
Yes.
Hopefully next time we can get even more of us here.
All right, ending meeting for all.